Hi guys, this is Ben Ivy, the fulfillment artist, and in this video we're going to be diving into the best lessons that I learned from attending Life Mastery in Fiji with Tony Robbins. So, in this video I've actually written everything down, so I'm going to go and have a look at this list so I get everything to you. But these are basically all the best lessons that I learned. So it was a 4-day event, starting from early till late, as all of Tony's events do, also with time to relax as well. And the pack was massive. It was like this thick. I've got it in my room. But there are a few core things that I learned that I thought was really powerful. So firstly, poisons. So one of the things that they were talking about was our bodies. What happens if you put poison into a body? And, we came up with different answers. You cough it out, you pee it out, you shit it out, whatever it is, right? But there's different ways in which to get rid of it. But you can imagine aches, pains. And for most people in the world, we go around with all these aches and pains and think there's something wrong with our bodies. But a lot of the time, even though structurally we do need to change, and I'll talk about that later, one of the things is that we're just putting shit into our bodies through the poisons. One of the things that I didn't know was what is in the food that you eat. Because we hear, okay, bananas are good for you, apples are good for you, eat lots of kale, veggies are better than muffins. But have you ever thought about the food that you eat? Like, have you actually thought about it? Because for most people, you grow up with food and then you're given certain types of food and this is it. And you've never really thought about what you eat and what you put into your system. So I never really thought about it in depth. Like, I eat a pretty healthy lifestyle, but I never thought about it on that level of, what you put into your body. And one of the things that I found fascinating was, the longer it's preserved, in the supermarket, right, the more dangerous it is to your body. So, if it can last 2 years, you want to put that in your system. That's probably not going to be very healthy and nutritious for you because it's going to be a dead food. So one of the principles that they say, and I've heard this before, is that 70% of your diet should be alive, should be water-based, should be vegetables, should be fruits, should be things that actually are alive as opposed to dead, right? If you can keep it for a week or you can keep it for 3 weeks and it still tastes the same, right, you probably need to get rid of it. But this is 70% of the time. 30% can be other things which I'll go on in due course. So I thought that was interesting looking into the different types of food and the poisons. So from there, it was looking into something called masticating. So I've got to be honest with you, I used to inhale my food. I mean, I could eat so quickly. And you had to, most families are like that. People are trying to steal food. You eat lots of food very quickly. I'm a business owner. I don't really have time to eat that much. So, I've got my food, I swallow it down, and then I get on with my day. Pretty simple. However, something that they say, this is funny, when I first heard this word, I thought it was emasculate. So I was like, yeah, you've got to emasculate your food. Actually, it's masticate. I mean, that's quite funny. So you've got to masticate your food. What this means is you need to chew it at least 30 times before you swallow. And this has been a game changer, Like, it wasn't even stressed that much in the seminar. It was stressed to me by one of the other people there, but I'm going to share it anyway because it's brilliant. And that is that you have to chew your food about 30 times before you swallow because you're actually digesting the food, and by chewing more in your mouth, your stomach has to work less. That gives you more energy, because one of the biggest consumptions of energy is digestion. So the easier you can digest food in your mouth and make it easier for your stomach, the more energy you have. It's pretty cool. So I really recommend doing it. My meals last a long time now. I'm only eating twice a day because I can't eat properly longer than that because I just don't have time to. It's crazy. So I just enjoy my smoothies. It's very, very funny. Or I'll eat while I'm doing work because I know it takes so long for me to bloody chew now, which is quite funny. Next is colonics. So have you ever heard of a colonic? A colonic is basically, very simply, it's water to clean out your colon, right? And you put it up your bum and it cleans out your colon. I'm going to put it out there. I was a little bit against this. I told the story previously, which is absolutely hilarious. I'm going to share it on stage in an energy seminar next year. It's going to make you laugh. However, in essence, I thought it was very fascinating to the way in which they described it, right? Your colon is your sewage system. So everything your body doesn't want gets stored in the colon and then you excrete it. But what happens is sometimes matter gets stuck in your colon, and it can sometimes be a poisonous zone. So even though you can change your diet and eat more healthy things, you may not feel it because your colon is still poisoned and acidic. What happens is you can't absorb those nutrients, which I thought was fascinating. So one of the things that they recommended was, regular colonics. And that's something that I think I'm going to be doing in due course, because I think it was brilliant. And it really had a big effect on me, and I can see my energy rising and being much more steady throughout the day. So yeah, brilliantly fascinating. And the other thing that we did is we cleansed. So, when you arrived, I lost 3 kg in a week. Like that's a joke. Purely from the colonics and the food we're eating and the cleanse. So I was doing the cleanse, which, was soups, you've got healthy smoothies, healthy drinks, but I was never, and on top of that, I was part of this team energy, so we ate more food, and I was still losing weight, which is crazy. So I have a confession that I have been binge eating healthy food, but binge eating a lot since I've been back. And that's pleased me greatly. So my muscles coming back because I definitely lost some whilst I was there. Next is your fatty acids. Sorry, I think it's, fatty acids. I don't know what I'm talking about. Fatty acids. Basically, it's looking into your omega-3s and your omega-6s. So most people don't get enough omega-3s and 6s in their diet because the diet that most people have in the world doesn't contain that. And your body can't create omega-3s and omega-6s. But by having more, there are so many different ways in which it helps your body through enhancing your brain, your skin, your immune system, your metabolism, loads of different stuff. It's wicked. And what they recommended was something called udo oil. So udo oil is something that you take 3 tablespoons a day for me, and that's brilliant, something I've added to my diet. I think it's fascinating. So another thing that I wasn't as aware of as I am now, which I thought was brilliant. One of the next things that they did was about your associations to food. So we all have different associations to food, be it myself, for example. I enjoy my brownies and ice creams. And although I have decreased the amount I eat, there are some times where I do let myself go. So I was experimenting with the associations that you have and how you can change it. And one of the fascinating things that they did was something called what they termed as a quality quantifier. In essence, it's just, on a scale of 1 to 10, if this was in front of you, how much would you want it? A 10? Okay. Well, how would you move it to an 8? How would you move it to a 0? How would you move it to a -5? And you start moving it up and down the scale, and it gives you more of an ability to control how much you eat as opposed to having to eat it. I know previously I would eat the whole ice cream, all the ice cream, and don't give me a tub of ice cream because I'll eat it. I'm not hungry, it's just natural, it just goes straight in. I'd obviously dealt with that before the seminar, but I thought it was an interesting, perhaps, how do I want to explain it? It's just an interesting tool that you can use yourself. So that's something that I'll share that I think if you have a food that you are very addicted to, you can use, and that would be interesting for you to play around with. Next, they had a exercise where you climbed up like a 60-foot pole and then jumped off, and the metaphor was, leaving your baggage behind. And you go to seminars all over the world, they will often have a metaphor in there to, letting go, breaking through, coming over your fears, because that metaphor acts as a big push or a catalyst to help you follow through. What was most fascinating is, for me, the way in which they were speaking about the next step, because often, even for myself, I get overwhelmed with thinking big picture, in different countries, doing lots of stuff. So being able to just think about the next step, for me, has been a very nice way to approach my business and my life and my work in a different way that I don't get so overwhelmed. What's the next step? What's the next step? And I think that's fascinating. So yeah, just another thing that I wanted to share. Next is water. So they recommend drinking half your body weight in ounces per day. So for me, that's 2.5 litres. I have a little bit more, and I have about 4 litres. Well, I'd say 3 to 4, and that's because at the moment I'm in LA, and my mouth, it just gets so dry. It's fine when I'm in the UK because it rains all the time, but when I'm in LA or when I'm in Shanghai and it's hot, I have to drink so much more. Speaking of drinking, Adding lemon and green powder to your beverage or your water in the morning is important because it's going to help you alkalize your system. What I mean by alkalizing your system is most people's bodies are acid, and you want to have more of an alkaline if you want to have more energy. You can test it, get some pH strips. I did this last year. It was brilliant. Just to understand, okay, am I acid, am I alkaline? Do a test. You can buy them for like £7 or $10 or whatever online. And you can just understand your body a little bit more. So I think that's fascinating. They also handed them out. So I did a test there. I was way too alkaline, so I needed to eat some more acidic stuff, which was fine for me. But yeah, just something interesting to do so you can get that balance right. Next, oh my God. So we did this thing called 5 rhythms dancing. I think you just got to go do it. It was crazy cool. It lasted, so it's at the end of the day. We're knackered. It's 9 o'clock in the evening. We've been going for a long time. I'm feeling tired. Everyone else is feeling tired. And then they say, and this person comes on, we start watching this video of her doing the dancing. And then she goes, yeah, it would last about an hour. And I'm not even joking. You could literally tell everyone in the room go like this. It was so funny. But actually, it was one of the most fascinating experiences that I've had of just letting go. And something that I recommend. So 5 rhythms dancing, just check it out. Another very fascinating just tool to explore. You know, in life, a lot of it is about exploration and growing. That is fascinating. Next, they introduced a mood meter for managing your emotions. As well as life and health, they were talking about your emotions and relationships. So a mood meter is pretty simple. You track your mood throughout the day, maybe 2 or 3 times, see how quickly you can change it. And hopefully what happens is it looks like a very good share that you bought and it just keeps going up. And it will go down and there'll be trends, but ultimately you're looking for an upward trajectory where you start to manage your mood better and you can start to, on a more consistent basis, feel more positive emotions. Veggies. Veggies are a must for your diets. And I hear this, I get it, but only now am I eating a ton of veggies. And I mean a ton. I mean so many veggies. Your carrots, broccoli, cauliflower, you got cucumber, kale, spinach, all this different stuff. And tomatoes. Tomatoes is one of my favorite. So, eating all these veggies on a consistent basis does wonders for your energy. You've got to check it out. Also, when you masticate, not emasculate, masticate, chewing your food, I only noticed how much I have to chew meat in order to get it to the same consistency as vegetables. Oh my God, my mouth hurt after having steak. It actually hurt. It's crazy. You've got to try it out. Okay, next. I've spoken about alkaline and acid, so I won't cover that again. Lymphosizing. So lymphosizing is, put it simply, you have 4 times more lymph in your system than blood. Your limbic system is basically your waste disposal system, so it removes dead cells. It just helps to cleanse your body in essence. So the way in which you can stimulate that is through something called rebounding, where you jump up and down, and whether you're skipping, but the reason that having a small trampoline or a rebounder is important is because it doesn't put any stress on your knees and your legs because it absorbs everything. And you don't have to bounce very high, you just go up on your toes and it gets the same thing. So you do that for about 5-10 minutes every morning. Brilliant. And it helps energize you. And ultimately, if you're watching this video, I'd want you to take a few key principles from here and look into how you can implement this into your life, because it's all good and well understanding some knowledge. But, I'm giving you the best golden nuggets that I have. These are the best things that I'm doing or that I'm sharing with you. So make sure that you take some of this and apply it, and hopefully by applying lots of different things, you'll very much see your energy improve dramatically. Next, they spoke about deep breathing and a diaphragmatic breathing, where you breathe from your diaphragm. So the ratio in which they suggested was 1-4-2. Very simply, it's a ratio. So an example would be breathe in for 1, hold for 4, breathe out for 2, and then again. So you could do this with, you breathe in for 3 seconds, hold for 12, breathe out for 6. And you do that 5 times in the morning, 5 times in the evening, or throughout the day, and that helps you energize your system through bringing more oxygen to your cells by using your entire diaphragm, which makes sense. it's funny, I've heard this so many times before, but how often do I really care about breathing? Yeah, I do it all the time. I know how to breathe, but we never really thought about breathing, but it's an interesting exercise to do. Once again, everything I'm sharing with you, experiment with. Don't just take it for granted and say, okay, I get that. Actually implement it and you'll find it really helpful. Okay, next is protein. For the guys out there and the girls who want to be strong, be healthy, and gain muscle, you're going to be thinking, okay, Ben, where am I going to get my protein from if it's not from animal protein? I still get a little bit from animal protein, but my majority is from my fish, eggs, tofu, nuts, and then some protein powder. For me, that's what I think's best and energizes me. I love my salmon. Don't eat tuna. It's got a lot of mercury, same as swordfish. And you've got to be wary of mercury in your system. Also, apparently a lot of fillings have mercury in as well. So that's just something to bear in mind if you've got lots of fillings. You want to get them removed if they've got mercury on. Okay, Egoscue. So they were talking about Egoscue exercises, E-G-O-S-C-U-E. That's my spelling. So write that down. Check that out online. They've got different exercises for you and your posture. I've spoken about posture loads, about how for myself I struggle with neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain from sitting all day, because I'd take client calls and I'd be there speaking to them and I'd be helping them, but I'd still be sitting. So now I do a lot of audio calls, but sometimes I'll take a call and I'll stand up. But it's just being aware of your posture. So they've got loads of different exercises that you can do. I'm not going to go through all of them now. But in essence, type in Egoscue online. Also, the guy who did he's got the monkey gym, John Hines. Brilliant guy, some fantastic exercises there. And yeah, I really recommend checking them out to help you better manage your body structure throughout the day. I'm going to be diving into this much more. I already know a fair amount, but as you probably know from me, this is I share a lot of insights with videos, but I only run courses when I know I've got everything on lockdown. So I'm still exploring energy, and I'm going to be exploring this much more next year with the best exercises for your structure, for your body, and how to move you forward. Last thing I want to say is that, you won't believe this, I'm now 69 kg and it's the lightest I've ever been, but the strongest I've ever been as well, which is crazy. And it just goes to show about how when we think about strength and we think about how much we weigh, often we want to look bigger and be, look okay. But I've looked okay and I've been in loads of pain. I've also, looked great and been very weak, but actually having your physical body strong internally and externally is so important. So I thought life was fantastic. I really enjoyed the event. Lots of learnings. Another thing, just off the top of my head, wheatgrass. Having a lot of wheatgrass, it's got a lot of chlorophyll in. That's incredibly important. You can look that up. I won't go through it in detail, but another thing that I'm also doing each day, as well as the green drinks. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to speaking to you very soon.